Hello, Loveland. I'm Mike Meldon, and this is your Loveland Weekly Podcast, brought to you by Gina Dubell Smith, eXp Realty, and Stone Pillar Farms. So this week, you lucky folks get to hear from two amazing Loveland women. First, you will hear my conversation with Gina Dubell Smith of eXp Realty about this year's HOMEARAMA and all the events that will go along with it. Then, you will hear my conversation with Jenna Shroeder, who many of you may know from the Loveland Stage Company. Jenna recently wrote 2 children's books, but one of them is being released right now. So Jenna and I sat down to discuss the process behind making a children's book and her own story behind how this amazing book became a reality. I hope you all enjoy. Today is Monday, August 12th, 2024.
So I'm sitting at a closing with Kevin Maloff, who is the owner of Stone Pillars Farm. And he says to me, you know, the property across the street from my house, if that ever comes on the market, please call me. I left the closing with Kevin. On the way back to my office from that closing, Kim Klosterman calls me and asks me to come talk to her about listing the property.
That's amazing.
Before I got to the office.
Serendipity.
So I listed the property, called Kevin. Kevin wrote a contract to buy it, all 228 acres.
Wow.
And then we figured it out from there. So part of Kim's reason for calling me was to keep it agricultural. Mm-hmm. She had oodles of offers from builders wanting to turn it into a 400 house development. And she really did not want that for her mom's property.
Okay.
Judy, her mom, raised racehorses on this property.
Oh, wow.
And her dad, who was into magic, had his magic museum in the basement of their house there.
I've seen the YouTube video. It's pretty impressive.
Yes. So Judy was the visionary for the farm that you see. Mm-hmm. Ken really had no interest in the horses. Mm-hmm. So the neighbors down Smith Road, everyone who's known Judy and her heart for raising very high quality racehorses, all wanted to see the property remain a farm, including Kevin Maloff. Okay. And in doing that, as everyone knows, the best way to make the most money on land is to slam as many houses in there as you can and go on to the next thing.
Sure.
And part of the reason HOMEARAMA is there is because by taking just shy of 30 acres off the 48 side, Kevin was able to work the numbers so that the remaining acreage could stay agricultural, which is why those properties are 11 acres or more.
That's awesome.
So that is twofold. It allows the buyers of the 11-acre parcels to remain in CAUV, which is a significant tax break on property taxes on the land value only. And it preserves what you see as you drive down the road, gorgeous which looks property. Like the Kentucky Horse Park.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. Yeah. So when you say it has to, some of those parcels have to remain agricultural as a farm, or what does that mean?
So agricultural valuation is something that is granted for 11 acres or more.
Okay.
And most people know about the 5-acre to 11-acre piece, because if you have over 5 acres, but not 11, you have to show $2,500 in income every year.
Oh, okay.
When it's 11 or more, you don't. Oh. So that allows the purchaser of that property to stay in the agricultural realm and pay agricultural taxes on 10 of their 11 acres, assuming that they're going to build a house.
Okay. So that makes it, so they don't, it's agriculture because they're allowing the land to be as it is, and they don't have to make any money off of it.
Right.
But they're not allowed to build more than one house?
Well, the covenants and restrictions for the neighborhood say that.
Yeah,
yes, it has to stay 11 acres. Kevin has more than 11 acres because he has the property his house sits on, plus he owns the barn. And the whitetail eventing is on 30 acres, and that's an equestrian facility. So there's over 4 miles of trails running through the property, and that's part of the HOA, that maintenance of those trails. So it's walking and for horses, and no motorized vehicles. So it's lovely. It's just it's really lovely.
It's a special place.
It
really
is.
It is. So now we know why HOMEARAMA came around. Tell us about HOMEARAMA. What makes this one special too? I'm looking at, you gave me some brochures with some gorgeous pictures of it, and it looks like you're having special events that I don't always see go along with HOMEARAMA. Is that correct?
That is correct.
So yeah, tell us about those and your HOMEARAMA event.
So alongside of HOMEARAMA and everything the home builders do to promote HOMEARAMA, we at Stone Pillars Farm are doing 3 events in conjunction with HOMEARAMA. One of them is bringing in the Clydesdales from Northern Kentucky. And the second is a Picasso pony party for little people.
That's awesome. To
get familiar with ponies. And then the third one is the Mustangs. And that's on Labor Day. It is known that those Mustangs and that therapy is a real bonding experience for veterans and first responders. So we're going to honor them by having the Mustangs come.
That's so neat.
On Labor Day.
And I'll have all these. I'll have all this information up on the Facebook page too, and linked to this podcast. So if you're interested in any of those 3 events, just look below, and it should be right there. And now, what about HOMEARAMA itself?
So HOMEARAMA, beautiful, beautiful houses, 6 of them, and as you can now go and drive down the street to see at least the houses from the outside. Each of the builders are showing off what the newest trends are. Curated, which was Bond Furniture originally. They will have not only done the interior design on a couple of them, but they're also going to have a huge tent. And at the end of HOMEARAMA, there's a tent sale. Oh, nice. So, but there are additional events that home builders put on. They're going to be live music, and it's basically a 3-week party.
That's neat. So what are the dates?
So the dates run, it seems like they're starting right now because everything's going in, but it starts Saturday, August 24th and goes through Sunday, September 8th.
And if people want to get tickets?
There's tickets available right there on site now. They just opened it this morning. Wow. So there's ticket sales on site. They're going to pretty much be there from 9 to 5 selling tickets. So
awesome. Anything that stands out with it? I mean, obviously you're having other events and this and that, but what stands out with this HOMEARAMA? And I'm sure you've been to many other ones, but what makes this one special?
Well, it's a little unusual to have larger lots for HOMEARAMA. Typically, they like to have them in tighter neighborhoods, more walkable. So this is the first one where the lots are a minimum of an acre. Most of them are just slightly over an acre, but they also they also touch the estate lots in the back, which is kind of nice backdrop, and that's where all these horsey events are going to happen. So it dovetails beautifully.
Anything you want to add?
We hope you come out and see it all. There's just a lot of heritage on the land itself. Judy raised one of the highest selling Ohio bred thoroughbreds there, the highest selling filly ever. And it's great to kind of walk on that land and feel that history and know that at least 3/4 of it is getting preserved in a way that would honor her and everything she put into it.
Hello, Loveland. It's Emily Barlow, your local publisher of Loveland Lifestyle Magazine. It's a great time of year. So many amazing things are happening in Loveland. It's warm, it's sunny, and there's really no better place to be. And we at Loveland Lifestyle love covering all of the happenings. In addition to any new businesses opening, awesome new ventures that people are focusing on. We love covering everything Loveland, and we love partnering with new businesses. So if you're a new business and you've been thinking about working with Loveland Lifestyle, or maybe you're someone who would love to get a copy, but it's not delivered directly to your door, you can always reach out to us through our website, citylifestyle.com/Loveland. We'd love to hear from you.
And now we'll hear from Jenna about her children's book. What was the seed that got this all started?
Yeah, well, I'm a very creative person. I've always been a writer or creating something. So if I'm not at the theater or if I'm not dancing, I'm writing.
That's awesome.
And actually, it was during the pandemic. My kids, all 4 of them were home on a double hybrid schedule.
Right.
It was glorious,
Yeah.
as you can imagine. And my 2 youngest ones, they were pretty young. And so they were doing their school online. And their teachers were great. They were amazing. They were reading books to them, online. And, but I couldn't help but think, I remember just wondering to myself, gosh, how long is this going to go on for?
Right.
And, what are little kids missing out on? What are they missing out on and not being able to do preschool story hour and using their imagination with each other, going on a bear hunt song, know, and the library story hour, which I would always take my kids to. And so I decided to write a poem. And so after I wrote this poem, I was looking at it and I thought to myself, this looks like a children's book. I think this could be something.
Right.
And I never really thought about that before. And the more I read it, the more I saw how the story talks about, how wonderful the world is around us and how important it is to connect to each other and experience the world around us together. And it's something that we all couldn't do during that time, right? And so I just really wanted to bring this kind, positive voice and thought to the world.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and so so what happened was I contacted my friend, Brian Warren, who he's actually a banker, but he's also an artist.
Was this still during the pandemic?
This was, actually, that's a good question. It was towards the end.
Okay. But it was still during that time period.
It was still during that time period.
The reason I ask that is over the course of doing these podcasts, I cannot tell you how many of them start with the pandemic.
Yeah.
I mean, so many. I mean, even the story of Love Our Land starts with really the pandemic and just people's job changes or projects like this.
Yeah.
It's, for me, especially sitting here listening to that, it almost should call the podcast something different because of that. because of just this time period, it changed so many lives.
It did.
You felt more, one, what you're missing out on, like you're talking about, the connection, right? That once you drive, but then 2, it made people feel like I can do more than I was, or I'm going to take advantage of
extra time.
And maybe take a step further that when life was so busy and crazy, I was afraid to do. But now I say, hey, I can do that too. That's really what I've seen come out of that. And that sounds like what your story is.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, during the pandemic, I started writing more than I ever had.
Right.
And that's really because I couldn't teach dance. I couldn't perform at the theater, and it's something, that was just something natural. And then my friend who works at Fifth Third, actually, and he was doing more art than he had done in a while. And so I agree. It was definitely, this is the time to seize the day, do a project, create something.
And he had never done this type of thing before either?
He had never done a kid's book before.
That's so great. Okay.
Yeah, and so it's funny because when I asked him, I said, hey, do you want to go on this adventure with me and try to figure out how to create a kid's book together? I have this story and I believe in it and I believe it needs to be told. And And he said, sure, send it to me. And so we started kind of emailing back and forth stanzas. I dropped off a pile of children's books that I loved, the style of art that I liked. I really wanted it to be whimsical and immersive because it was about, there's a lot of nature in it. And I just really wanted little kids to be captivated by the pictures.
Yeah.
And I also wanted to feel like whoever's reading it to their little reader or they feel like they're going on a journey together, like an adventure together, like it's an experience. So we worked on it. He'd send me pictures back and forth. We'd go back and forth. And finally I had a whole set of pictures. And then, and for different reasons, had to keep putting it down. And I tried the traditional publishing route. And I tried to figure that out. And it was a bear. And I came to realize traditional publishers, they don't want something that's already illustrated. They don't want a complete book.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Neither did I. So I'd already done all this
I didn't
work.
make it that far.
Yeah. I had already done all this work, and I'm like, well, I'm not going to ditch all these beautiful pictures that we just worked on.
They just want to have, I guess, say in that. Is that what it is? Okay.
Yeah, and they want to use their own illustrators.
Okay.
So anyway, so then I shopped around I found a hybrid publisher. And I thought, okay, well, this could work. This is something where you can submit what you have, and you have authority over some of the things that it looks like. You have to pay for it and things like that. And that ended up taking a really long time. Unfortunately, it didn't work out. They printed it really small. A lot of things were not the way I had hoped and envisioned. It cost me a lot of time and money, and so I was
and frustration.
It was so frustrating. It was and I waited for a long time. So you can imagine having come up with this during the pandemic, and then it taking another year or two to go through this.
Having gone
for them.
right, I think that's, if people don't know, I have a children's book out too, and people don't realize I think the hardest part is that waiting. And we had talked before we pushed record here. We were talking about these books, and I told her one of the hardest parts was my publishing company waiting for my first batch of books was supposed to be 3 weeks, and it took like 3 months. Yeah. But the other waiting that goes involved, like you said, a lot of it is that, like, you're waiting on, you're giving your illustrator ideas. Yeah. And then waiting to see what they're going to look like. And it's not like you get the whole book at once. You're getting page by page, or a couple pages at a time, which is not their fault. This is awesome, but it's a waiting game.
It is. The whole thing. And then if you work with a publishing company or a hybrid publishing company, you're waiting on them, and you're waiting on them to get back to you. And this one in particular was not communicative. And I felt like I handed you everything. What literally could be changing? What could be taking so long? So by the end, when I finally got it, it turned out really small. It was I don't know why. So it was disheartening.
So answer me this, and this might be for those of you that are interested in maybe doing this one day. All I know is people said going with a regular publisher is too difficult. Don't stay away from that. Try to do it yourself. And so I didn't really get involved in that like you did. And then you got a hybrid one. What is the hybrid one compared to what we ended up going with Ingram Spark? Is that a hybrid? That's not considered a hybrid?
No, Ingram Spark is self-publishing.
Self-published. That's what I did. Okay, 100% self-publishing, which I found pretty easy once I got through it. Yeah. But what does the hybrid one do?
The hybrid is where you're like partnered in it together. So where a traditional publisher will pay for everything and do everything for you. You just submit your manuscript. And they edit it, and then they end up having full control over it. And then you get a small royalty, a very tiny royalty, but they paid for everything, then they get everything. Right. Hybrid publisher is where you invest, a chunk of money, and they invest in getting it printed, and you can go back and forth with an editor.
Gotcha.
On things.
So you're getting an editor, and you're getting those things that you're not always
gotcha. But you're paying, for it, and then you get a bigger royalty once it's done.
Gotcha.
And you have some, like, a big say in what it looks like. Whereas with the traditional publisher, you don't. You might not even get to, like, the cover.
Right.
Hopefully you do, but, and there's a lot out there, and there are a lot of, I'm sure, wonderful hybrid publishers. I think that there are. I think I just happened to find one that was a little bit scammy. So you have to be careful, because people,
Sure, like any other business,
they're, looking to,
make money.
And
don't care about the final project.
So in the end, it was like, it didn't turn out the way I envisioned, and it was a frustrating experience. And I thought, you know what, this matters too much to me. I feel like this is supposed to be done really well. And I had this dream, I had this vision of doing it, in this beautiful way. And so I decided I'm just going to take it back. I'm just going to take it back, and I am going to redo it. And I mean, it's a lot of the illustrations are the same, but it did give me a chance to edit it even more myself and improve it, actually, after learning a lot about writing and getting feedback and improving things. I was able to make it better, which was cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And then I, learned the whole self-publishing route, and I learned how to get it. I got some technical help to get it formatted, and I did have a professional editor look at it because I wanted to make sure that it was the best it could possibly be.
Right.
And it's finally done.
That's awesome, and it's awesome.
and I love it. And
yeah,
that's
I love
what
it too.
I wanted. I wanted it to be beautiful.
It is beautiful.
Yeah.
She just showed me a copy. It is gorgeous. It is, like she said, whimsical and magical, and the illustrations, the writing, everything. It's phenomenal. You guys got to check it out. But I want to go back to the self-publishing thing.
Yeah.
Because I did it. I found if you have a little bit of help, like when I hired somebody, I hired an illustrator, and she also did my formatting and then put it all in the format. So I found it a lot easier. Once you do it, it's obviously easy.
Right.
But you ran into a lot of walls. Would you recommend the self-publishing route now? Would you recommend that to people that are looking to maybe do this?
Yeah, I would. I think you don't have to go through so many barriers.
So free.
Yeah, and I think it obviously depends on what you want to get out of it. Like for me, I really wanted this book to exist in the world, and to go through a traditional publisher, it may never happen, or it would have had to have looked different. And I think with self-publishing nowadays, so many wonderful platforms, and Amazon and Barnes & Noble Online, and all of these, and and local shops and people wanting to support independent authors. I mean, it's a win-win situation. And I think the best way to do it, though, is when you don't know how to do something, you get somebody to help you that does know how to do it. And I think that that's something that I learned is like, my friend who is an artist helped me make this. And then I did hire a couple people on Upwork to help me with formatting, or an editor to look at it, make sure it's the best it can be. And you can find, there are people everywhere that have these skills and that do work with self-publishing authors to help them. So I would recommend it. I think now I know, now there's some things I know, like, okay, I'm going to have it completely edited before I do illustrations, because once you go back and forth and you don't want the
you don't want them to have to change the draw. Oh, I felt so bad the first time.
Yeah.
There's so much I learned on the second one. And mine's going to be, like, I remember too, little things like getting the congressional number. Yeah, the number from Congress and the ISB. So I waited till the end to do a lot of that. It's like I could do that while I'm waiting on these other things. And so, you learn a lot on the first go. And
so much
like
learning.
you said, I had people help me out. Shout out to Denise DeStasi, who has her own children's books out, local author also. When you have, and if people are listening and looking to do this, reach out to us. We can help you out. Yeah. Because that's really important to have. It's not the easiest. Well, it's not. For somebody, I couldn't imagine going out and not having talked to anybody or having a little bit of assistance here or there. So
yeah.
All right. So now let's get into what is the book. What did your poem turn into?
So my poem turned into a book called Our Enchanted Forests Real, and it starts with a question: Are enchanted forests real? And originally, I imagined a kid asking other kids. But what it ended up being is a daughter asking her mom.
Nice.
And the mom saying, and the daughter asking, can I see this special place? And so the mom saying yes, and she takes her daughter on this imaginary journey to find out if enchanted forests are real. And throughout the journey, they learn some positive things along the way, and they see some beautiful parts of nature along the way. And there's a few elements in here, like taking a deep breath, things like that are good for kids. Being brave. In the book, in one of the stanzas I have, they're looking at dolphins, and they're looking at a dolphin that swam out to the ocean, and it says, I bet it was hard to swim out this far, you know, and it took every ounce to be brave. And so there's little things like that.
Yeah.
There's a little bit about sharing your worries and kind of lightening the load with each other.
Nice.
So in the book, I talk about look at the animals, how they travel in herds and flocks. You
Very
know,
cool.
we share together. And so there's one part where it says, so if you feel stuck, lift up your trunk and march your feet with me. Side by side, we share with pride to set our worries free. And there's a picture of elephants together.
Very cool.
So yeah, they go climbing, and it talks about how a climber's motto is to lift each other up. So it's a very positive mindset, positive thinking. And in the end, you know, it talks about the most beautiful thing of all is that they were able to have this experience together. So that, you know, really ties in the story of learning together, going on an adventure together, the beautiful world around us.
Right.
But in the end, it's really about who you spend it with.
That's
you know?
awesome.
So it's that's what it turned into. My goal was for someone who's reading it, a mom or a dad or a teacher reading it to a little reader, that they feel like they've gone on this journey together. They feel like they've had this positive experience together, and that the pictures are peaceful and inspiring. And then that if there was a little reader reading it to themselves, that they feel encouraged, you know, and that this like positive mindset thinking too, like that they can be brave and that they can share their worries and that's okay. And they can have feelings and then they can be playful and catch snowflakes on their tongues,
That's
you know?
awesome.
So like that's the whole feel of it. And that's my goal. It's just to have something beautiful for someone to feel encouraged by.
Yeah. Gotta edit that. The whole time you're talking, I was thinking about how sentimental it is too. You know, I mean, like you said, a mom to a daughter, a dad to their kids. I get my kids each a book every year. Something about, you know, either something we've gone through or some, like when they were younger, definitely a book like this. And that's all I was thinking is like, wow, this would have been the perfect book to give to my daughter growing up, you know, with a little message on the inside like that. Or I was just thinking too is like, the whimsical, but the messages that mean so much in a relationship, like a parent to a kid. I think of that book, The Places You Go, which as a high school teacher, I sign every single year
I'm sure you
a
do.
copy for kids. You know, their parents bring it in as a secret and we sign it. So, but I'm thinking this is kind of along the same type of things. It's almost like the journey, you know, but the idea of like journey through life and these little lessons that you're relaying on to kids, you know, inspirational type things, but life is magical. You should be looking at it that way.
It is. And one of the most encouraging things, and I think I teared up when I saw this, was when I told you that I did, you know, hire a professional editor to take a look at it. And she wrote back to me, you know, after tweaking, you know, editing a little bit here and there, but her paragraph made me cry. And it was like, this is such a wonderful story, and that she thought that adults would be encouraged to read it too. And it's hard to write a book that both kids and adults will feel inspired by. But she's like, you did it. And I am just gonna hold that, you know, in my head, because when you know, you work so hard, you know, it's really hard to get when you're trying to do something, put something out in the world. You come across obstacle after obstacle, you know, and even in life, right? You have people that believe in you or don't, right? But man, when I read that, I was like, yes. Like, and I'm just like, I want kids to feel like I'm going to take that and have that positive mindset in my head as I keep moving forward.
She said it much better than I did, but I think, as you said, that was my point, is that I like the math, like as you read it and as I just look through it, I liked reading my kids all children's books. There's a lot of great ones, right? Some of them are just silly or whatever. This one made me want it's that little bit extra special. Like I feel like I'm not just reading them a children's book, but I'm doing something a little bit more than that. So she said it better than me, but that's what I agree with that too. I agree with that too.
I like the way you said it too.
Thank you. No. But that was my point, is that this is something I think adults will latch on to.
Yeah.
You know.
I hope so. Yeah.
I think so. And it's funny, my children's book is based on native plants, and the guy that's really behind this movement, his name is Douglas Tallamy. World-renowned author, has many amazing books out. I recommend them all, and I sent him a copy. And the same type of endorsement, it changed everything. He just said, Mike, I hope you sell 1 million copies. We need all the children to get this message.
Yeah.
And it was like, whoa, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Like, you feel it's a long journey. You got your family behind you and supporting you. Not many people know about it, right? And then even when it gets going, you got to, well, you're just starting to sell.
Got blood, sweat, and tears to get it out there.
And you're thinking, okay, where am I going to find this? I don't know. Like you said, where people, where they legitimize you? What am I thinking of? Like an affirmation that my work was worth it, was good, legit, and it comes from odd places. You got yours from her, and you'll get more. You'll get, I've had a couple experiences where I was like, yeah, this is cool that I put this out. You'll get those more, but that first one was really needed, right?
Right, after a marathon, you really need that granola bar.
Exactly. You're like, all right, good. Okay.
Yeah, it's so true. And another cool thing I realized as you were talking about, like with kids, how you have your family behind you, like it's kind of neat. There's a couple places in here where my kids actually helped me, like where
that's awesome.
When I was re-editing it, when I told you I took it back, and I was like, I think I can make this better. I think I can even, because it started out as a poem, so it started out a little bit adult heavy. Like it would be better,
Sure, that makes sense.
Make it more for kids, and so like my oldest daughter helped me with the rhyming part during the elephant part. My son, Gabe, we talk about sharing our feelings a lot and how that's okay, and so like he helped me with another line, and I'd be like, okay guys, do you like this line or do you like this line?
Awesome.
And they were my beta readers, like can you read this over and over again, and do you like cool. how this flows?
And they'll remember that forever.
Yeah, so it's Shroeder kid approved.
That's awesome. I love it.
So I think that this book, Our Enchanted Forests Real, it's perfect for bedtime. It's perfect for anyone who wants a positive message for their kids, for a student in your classroom, for preschool story hour. And it's filled with hope. And I hope that it just helps remind everybody how beautiful our world is and how wonderful it is when we get to spend it together. So that's my goal, and I hope everyone will check it out.
And they can check it out. They can get it on Amazon. They can get it on Barnes & Noble. And I think there's other websites out there. If you just Google it, it'll come up. But also locally, hopefully we can find it here in a couple stores soon too, right?
Yep, that's the goal.
So be on the lookout for that, and I will post as we find out to where we can find it around Loveland.
Our Enchanted Forests Real. Go on a journey to find out.
Looking ahead in Loveland. Concert in the Park, Retrovention will be playing downtown Loveland on August 18th from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. The show promises all the sights and sounds of a Doors show. The City of Loveland presents the 2024 Concert in the Park series, and they are free and open to the public. Concerts are to be held at Nisbet Park, and you can enjoy Loveland's designated outdoor refreshment area, or DORA. You can order food from a local restaurant and have your dinner in the park while you listen to the band. See you there, August 18th, from 6 to 8 p.m. And if you have any events you would like me to mention here on the podcast, please reach out at lovelandweekly@gmail.com. We have something truly special here in Loveland. Thank you for listening, and have a great week. This episode was produced and engineered by Mike Meldon right here in Loveland, and please note that the opinions expressed in the podcast do not necessarily represent the views of our sponsors or organizations.